Hello, this is Professor Homa again. I'm going to show you two quick things from our tool exercise that we worked on. And actually over here you could see samples of, I'm just going to go over how to create the end of the wrench and the end of the screwdriver. And even when I do the end of the wrench, I'm going to do it so it's not as sharp. I'm going to do that first. I'm going to use the star tool. Now typically when you use the star tool, it has really sharp points on it, and you can use the up and down arrow to add points or reduce points. Now I'm going to delete that after I create it. I'm going to click once on my page, and I'm going to look at these radius 1, radius 2 numbers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my radius 2 number very close. I'll put it at like 1, very close to my radius 1 number. I'm not worried about the points yet. And I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see that my points aren't as long. They're kind of more shallow. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take my ellipse tool. I'm going to start from the center, and if you hold Shift and Option and you drag, it'll actually create a circle from the center. So it's easier to create a center that originates, or a circle that originates from the center. And I'm going to, as I drag, I'm going to kind of split those little stars. And I could scale it later, but I'll try to eye it up as best as I can right now. And now I can't see my stars right now, or my points, so I'm going to give it a fill of none, so I could see through it and see where it's overlapping. So now I can see it's going about halfway through those. What I'm going to do is take my selection tool, highlight both of these, and then use my align tools, my horizontal and my vertical. Because they're circular, they'll align completely on center. And I'm going to use my intersect Pathfinder. Now it doesn't matter which one's on top when I use the intersect, but I'm going to use my third button over, which is the intersect Pathfinder. I'm going to click, and it'll leave me with this shape. And you can see it's not as pointy as my sample, which is actually what I want. So now I'm going to draw another oval or circle. I'll try the same thing, holding Shift, Option, and I'll drag so it's a little bit bigger. And again, I'll align them together on center. So by highlighting them both, align horizontal center and align vertical center, so they're right on top of each other. Their centers are aligned. And right now this is the shape that I want, but I want this top shape to knock out of the back shape. So I want a minus front. So I want to make sure this is up front. Now it's hard to tell when they have no real color, but just to be sure I could select this shape that I just made and just do Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. That just assures that it's in front of that other shape. Now when I highlight both of these shapes, I'm going to do a minus front, and again that just creates a hole in it. So I'll hit minus front, and one way to check, you could go to your swatches. If you give it a fill color, or you could actually, I'll go here. You can see now it's actually filling that outer shape, and the inner shape is actually transparent. If I put it over top of those tools, you can see I can see through it. So that's what I want with that shape. I'll put it back to its default color, but that's what I want. So that's how I would create that shape on the wrench. Okay, I'm going to just move that off to the side right now and just focus on the tip of this screwdriver, which again is very simple. There's different ways to do it. You could do it with rectangles, but I'll show you a quick way by using a triangle. I'm going to take the star tool, or you could use polygon tool. Either one will work. And if I start to drag, and actually it's coming out with 3 sides, which is exactly what I want, but if it was coming out in like a stop sign shape or hexagon or whatever, you could use your arrow tool as you drag and reduce the number of sides. So, and you can also hold the Shift key to keep it straight. So if I hold Shift, it's going to keep that triangle straight. And I'm going to leave go of my mouse first, and there I have a triangle, and I'm going to just move it down. I'm going to take a rectangle and just draw a rectangle over top so it's overlapping, and like we did before with our Pathfinders, I'm going to do a minus front so that this top shape will cut out the overlapping shape. So I'm going to go over to my Pathfinder, minus front, and I'm left with this almost trapezoid shape. And if I want, similar to this shape, I could stretch this out. And if I want another shape, I could flip this. I could use the flip tool if I want. I'll go over here and double click on the flip tool. This time I'll rotate it on its horizontal axis, like this axis here, almost like it's rotating around a horizontal bar. So I'll choose that and I'll hit copy, and you can see it flipped around right on its own center, but I'll just move it down I'll squash it by grabbing the middle handle, and I'll overlap it slightly. I could even align these. And now I can highlight both shapes. And I have a little bit of a point down there. I could zoom in and nudge that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I want a little overlap, but I'm going to highlight both shapes, and I'll use my Unite Pathfinder, and it becomes one shape. And then if I wanted to give it a gradient, I could use any kind of gray and white gradient to make it look metallic, just like the sample here. But again, it was just a triangle, chop off the top, flip it around, and then you could squash it at different size. So that was the two shapes that we worked here, the end of the wrench and the tip of the triangle.